A Topeka Railroad bridge continues to be a serious concern tonight for one driver who says falling concrete damaged his windshield earlier this week.
We first told you about this story last night, and the railroad company says it's not their fault. They blame a problem with the curbing around that bridge, but that response left us with even more questions. New at 6 and only on KSNT News, Kaitlin Berry went back to that bridge today to take a closer look.
Looking around this stretch of Topeka Boulevard under this railroad bridge, it's not a pretty sight.
The deterioration of the concrete and the water's still dripping, and it rained, what, 12, 14 hours ago last night?
Those things make him think this bridge isn't safe, and that's why he came to KSNT News.
Actually more nervous to stand here now, knowing there's a bungee cord holding the bridge together.
After a piece of concrete fell from the bridge and hit his windshield Wednesday, Nichols filed a report with the owner of the bridge, BNSF Railroad. And I learned he's not the only one.
A year or so ago, I came underneath the boulevard, or this bridge here, and there was a train passing overhead, and a chunk fell down and cracked my windshield.
That's why I followed up to find out what they're doing about the problem and found out they already sent an inspector out. But that inspector says the bridge is fine. He believes a broken curb is the problem and other cars are kicking up the concrete.
Of course they're going to say this.
Nichols says it doesn't add up. He tells me there weren't any other cars around when this happened, so he knows the curb isn't to blame. So I put in more calls and emails to BNSF and asked to meet an inspector at the bridge. And when I finally heard back, they said an inspector wasn't available.
But I decided to come back to the bridge anyway, and as I was driving along this road, I noticed a BNSF truck sitting right over there. He didn't stick around long enough to talk with me.
Which raises even more questions.
Eventually, the 1 out of 100 will be here, and it'll be sad that this is brought to attention and no one's actually stepping up to do anything about it.
Nichols plans to continue making calls and asking questions. We will too. I've put in requests for further inspections with the Kansas Department of Transportation and the Federal Railroad Administration, and we'll let you know when we hear back. Kaitlin Berry, KSNT News.
All railroad companies are required to complete annual inspections of their rails and bridges. We're requesting the inspection history of this bridge to find out even more.